Is this thing on?
It's on.
I think it's on.
I think it's on.
I think we may have corrected the microphone problem.
Well, we'll see.
We won't know until we actually put it out, though. Doesn't matter how many times we test it until it's actually out on the internet. We don't know if the mics are working.
Look, we're not in a professional studio. We're in my basement here.
We're not brain surgeons or rocket scientists or...
Hello.
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 Let's go!
Hey, kids.
Hey, Dad.
War crimes will be prosecuted.
Does the word mean anything to you?
Yeah, I chose this profession, so therefore I earned beer.
You want to go to the matinee?
The feeling is definitely there.
You don't know my name!
It's a new morning in America.
This is the old dude, Howard J. Reynolds.
Step into my office.
Not going to be too many punks.
John, would you stop worrying about the punk?
Fuck you! That's my name!
Yeah, let's go to the punk rock show.
Introducing, for your listening pleasure.
Here it is. Here we go. Episode 87 of the High Fives podcast. Michael, you're here.
That's what the screen says.
Okay.
It says I'm here. It says I'm in the room.
Well, we've taken care of attendance now.
Yeah. I put my hand up.
Episode 87 is the top 5 songs with a sound clip. Actually, we'll make a little adjustment to that. It's the top 5 sound clips in a song. The two is very, very similar, but that slight adjustment, it makes a world of a difference to me. The first time we did this, if you're just joining us for the very first time, this season of the podcast is redoing the first 11 episodes that were never released on the main streaming services. And the first time we did it was the top 5 songs with a sound clip. This time I'm saying let's do the top 5 sound clips in a song. Does the distinction bother you, Michael? Is that
It worked.
satisfactory?
It works for me only because I don't think I would have picked a song with a sound clip that I didn't like the actual sound clip. So that's how I'm going to justify my picks.
All right. Good. I'm glad we're on the same page.
I think we both know that I just wing this whole thing.
We do both know that. That's what makes it exciting.
This isn't like the ska episode where I showed up to the interview and I was like, oh, I totally screwed this up. So this will work. We're good. We're good.
I forgot to tell our guest how this works. Yeah, that was great. I'm glad that you brought it up and I didn't have to.
Mm-hmm.
This list was way harder than I remembered it. Maybe one of the toughest lists we've done. And we're doing it again.
I bet you it's hard because there's just like punk rock's filled with sound clips. And that's like one of the cool things. Like other than maybe hip hop, it's probably the only one that uses samples like on a regular basis.
True. But if you don't know the song, like if you don't have like a go-to for the song, how did you find them? Like the internet was absolute shit for this topic. Like almost zero help.
Yeah.
Like not even inspiring ideas. There was absolutely nothing.
Our whole intro is sound clips from songs.
Sure. But I didn't want to use those.
Yeah, that's fair.
I've used like 40 in that. That took 40 out right off the top.
There was a part of me that I thought you were just going to use all those Midwest emo things that you were talking about on the Instagram thing.
But those aren't real songs.
But I thought you were going to do it.
That would have been clever.
It would have been.
But it would have felt like cheating. I don't like to feel like I'm cheating.
Are you going to put like some instrumentals over this so it sounds like we're a Midwest emo song?
I don't think there's anything in here that would evoke tears.
Well, it doesn't matter. I think that's the whole thing. It's like the music.
That's the piece.
The music and it makes it sound like it's so deep, even though it's not. And that's like one of the good things about sound clips, I think, is that like somehow they can enhance a song so much, whether it's like to make it funny or to like invoke like an emotion of like make it the song sadder or like somehow makes a song about breaking up with a girl like way more like deep, even though it's probably like ridiculous. I'm looking at you, Ataris.
Shots fired.
Yeah.
I am not putting any music behind this. No.
Okay.
That's one more step that I'm not going to take.
The thought
All right?
thought was there though.
The thought was there.
Okay.
Yeah. The last couple of weeks has been me listening to the first 2 seconds of like my entire catalog of music, which I'm sure has done nothing but drive my family mental. I don't know. Like over the years, I know I've heard like many, many great sound clips and thought I should save that. And before even finishing that thought, I'd cut it off with, we did it already. And yet here we are. So this has been the last couple of weeks for me, Mike.
You know what's awesome about sound clips is like when you don't know what it's from and then you like come across it in the wild. Like you're like watching a movie, you're like, holy crap, that's what this is from.
Right.
That's always a beauty.
That is a moment.
It's a great moment.
You know what I came across the other day?
What did you come across, Nate?
This has nothing to do with sound clips. I'm this is a transition into something else. We'll come back to sound clips. I've just had enough of sound clips for a moment, okay?
All right. What about samples?
All right. Nope. Has nothing to do with samples either.
All right. What about sound bites? I'm just going to keep going here.
It's completely different.
Let's hear what you have to talk about.
So I read a headline the other day. The headline said, vinyl sales surpass CD sales for the first time since 1987. How is that possible?
You know what that means, Nate?
That people are still buying CDs.
I do buy CDs.
I know you
But
do.
here's what I'm telling you, Nate. That just means in my head that within 3 to 5 years, I bet you CDs are cooler than vinyl again for hipsters. They'll be like, oh, like my mom's buying vinyl at Indigo or Chapters or whatever, or London Drugs. I'm going to go find CDs because CDs are harder to find now. That's just how it works.
Isn't that surprising?
I already thought that happened a long time ago, to be honest.
Right. That's what I'm saying. Like I would have thought in the last 10 years that that's happened and nobody mentioned it. But the fact that it's just, people have been waiting for it. Not only has it just happened, but people are like, today's the day. Like somebody had their finger on the button. Hey, go ahead and print that lead.
Yeah. Wow.
That's wild.
It is weird.
Like I know you still buy CDs.
I know quite a few people that still buy CDs.
Really?
Yeah.
Huh.
Like there's people that I buy both, and there's people like there's certain stuff like I don't know. For me, CD's still a more palatable way to listen to music. Like I guess I don't consume music the way that like I know you like sit and put an album on and listen to it. Where like I use music when I'm doing things like working or something.
Right.
So like you can't really bring a record player to work or to, like in your car.
You could.
Or your car.
You
or
could
like,
bring it to work.
You know, I work in construction.
You work in an office.
Yeah, okay, but I meant like I'm not okay. For example, like I like if I'm shoveling snow or like working in the yard, I'm not like, oh, I'm gonna bring my record player up. But that's the place I listen to music the most, or in my car. Where like
on your Discman.
I wish I had not anymore. But I meant like in my house, even if I'm doing things, I don't know. It's easier for me to have a CD than vinyl. I do have lots of records too. I just like
I'm not judging it.
No, I get
There's no judging.
I wish I could be that guy that's like, or that person that's like, I'm gonna sit and really consume this album. But I've never been that person. So I love music and I listen to more music than I should, but I just never consumed it that way. So for me, the CD is more palatable.
It's no judgment. I just, I guess I'm just surprised that people were still buying CDs more than people were buying vinyl, like over the last, let's say 10 years.
I think we're talking worldwide too, right? So again, then maybe that's like a cost factor too. So like maybe like people don't have access to record players in certain places.
Maybe.
Like, probably in like North America and like England and places like that, they're probably like, it's been a while. It's probably already surpassed for a bit. I don't know. I'm just making up stuff now.
You're bringing a lot of complex thoughts to the table, Mike, and I appreciate it.
Using that hypothesis thing that they talked about in like grade 2 science.
I don't think it was grade 2. I think it was a little more advanced than that. Well, let me tell you what non-CDs I've been listening to.
Excellent.
First one out of the gates is a Calgary band, Des Arcs. Des Arcs? I don't know. I think it's French.
I don't know what it is, to be honest.
It's French is what it is, but I'm not going to do a French accent. Let's call it Des Arcs.
Mm-hmm.
All right. You happy with that?
Sure.
All right. Masks is the new album, came out just this month of 2023. The band self-describes as hot and gritty hunka-munka rock and roll music. The album is self-described as brooding and blistering guitar rock and roll music to soothe your modern malaise. And I couldn't agree more. My first listen to this album put it into the Calgary of post-punk, which kind of led me to the thought of what actually is post-punk. Do you have a definition for post-punk, Mike? It sounded like post-punk to me.
I don't think they're post-punk, but
no. Have you listened to it?
Yeah, I love this album. It's really good.
It is good.
So,
so what would you categorize?
I thought it was more rock and roll
post-punk?
than post-punk. Like, I thought it felt like more like I don't know, like. I hate comparing things, but maybe like it sounded Husker Du-y kind of like a little bit.
Interesting.
I don't know.
And you would consider Husker Du in the rock and roll?
Well, they're like
kind of category.
Yeah, I don't know. That's a gray area, right? Like that's not like
it is. It is.
Like
gray.
I think post-punk. When I think post-punk, I think more of like the Soft Boys or bands like that. Like a little bit more like. Or to some extent, like even like Joy Division or something like that. That's more post-punky to me than like this.
Right.
But
right.
Yeah, I don't know.
All right. So you had your own category for it. You liked it. I liked it. It's definitely worth a listen. Honestly, it feels like a band that any one of our friends who grew up listening to punk in the 90s would start and sound like today.
Yeah, like a mature, well, that's a horrible way to describe it, but yeah, like a grown-up version of like the punk sound that we liked.
Yeah. Are you ready for the second one?
I do love me some Calcon, so good job.
It's another post-punk band, Mike.
Did you just learn this word?
Try and fit it into every sentence I use tonight. This album was originally released in 1995 on Lookout Records. It's a compilation of songs from singles and EPs and was just re-released on Red Scare this year. The band is Sludgeworth. The album is Losers of the Year. Do you know this record?
So good, man.
How did you not tell me about this? Did you know about this in 95 or is this new to you this year?
I caught it just when I was doing actually my year-end episode.
Huh.
I caught it and I was like, this is really good. But I had already recorded and I was trying to think of a way to sneak it in. And I didn't know it was a compilation at the time, so I'm glad I didn't. But I like found out like a little bit later.
So you could have used this in the last episode as well, had you had your eyes on it, had this been in your sights, because this was the side project of Dan Vapid while he was still in Screeching Weasel.
What? I didn't even know that.
Yes.
I literally saw like Red Square, like Instagram something about this, and I was like, this is great. I thought it was like just a new band. It sounds very Red Scary.
It's Dan Vapid and I believe one other guy from Screeching Weasel. They just kind of did this as a side project and then reunited with Screeching Weasel afterwards. Yeah, this album puts you right back in the 90s, jammed with nostalgia, completely missed this one on the first time around. So stoked I found it this time. My third offering for the night is God Damn It. And the album is All This Time Is Yours Now. Do you know this one, Mike?
This one I do not know.
Came out in 2022. Orgcore with nods and hints to Iron Chic, Nothington, Red City Radio. Lots of sing-along gang vocals to join in on. This is their third full length from this Philly band and was a first-time listen for me. Will listen again. And my last one is one that you brought to me, Mike, one you sent my way. The band is called Thanks! I Hate It. I'm not sure if this is where the name comes from, but this is a Simple Creatures song title. Thanks. I Hate It. I love the name of this band and equally love the cover art for this album and equally love the songs on this album. It's their first full length. And this California band combines the feeling of Midwest emo with the high energy of pop punk. Lover's Lane just came out this year.
So good.
Really good. Good find,
Yeah.
Mike. Appreciate
Thank
the
you.
share. What have you been listening to?
Well, Nate, I've been listening to a band called The Great Awake. Do you know them?
Isn't that super band?
I don't think
Maybe
so.
not.
They're an Australian band. I think they've been around for a while. I didn't realize that until the other day when I was looking at their Bandcamp. I think they've been around for quite a while, but they're like a melodic punk band, and their songs are relatable to aging folks like us. They have a song called Shitty Midlife Crisis, and it opens with the line, "I started skateboarding again like a shitty midlife crisis," which was super relatable because that's what I attempted to do, but I still continued to suck. Anyway, it's a great album if you're into that if you're looking for that throwback sound to like late 90s punk rock.
Nice.
So worth checking out. Up next, Homefront and their album Games of Power. I've been a huge fan of the EP that came out last year, and the full length picks up right where it left off. If you're into post-punky Joy Division sound,
Hey, look at you.
then yeah, that's a coincidence. Then you should check them out. They're from Edmonton, really good band, and for some reason I've missed them in town like 3 times already. Each time I'm like, I'm gonna go, and then like one time I was sick, another time just couldn't make it. And
That's not for some reason, Mike. That's because you don't
anything?
go. That's the reason. There's not for some reason. It's that reason.
I didn't tell you this to call me out.
I know.
It's fair enough. It's a fair. The thought of me going was there. Does that feel better? Like I really want to see this band.
You don't.
I do.
You don't really want to. You want to, but you don't really want to.
Okay.
That's
Fine.
okay. You don't have to really want to.
Up next is Grade 2. This is an album I wasn't really prepared to like as much as I do. It's going to sound snobby, but I thought it was a terrible band name, so I just never really cared to check them out. I kept seeing the name, but like, I was like, Grade 2? Was it because like they were going to be called Grade, but Grade already existed, so just went with Grade
Right.
2? Like,
I just kept thinking of like Chris Farley doing Pearl Jam 2 in that sketch on
that's a
Saturday
good
Night
pull.
Live.
That's a good pull. But yeah, I think someone said to check it out in our WhatsApp group, and I did, and I really like it. It's got a very Tim Armstrong sound to it, which I believe he produced it, right? If I'm not
I know
mistaken.
Rancid's
It's on-
like pretty involved with these guys.
It's on Hellcat, I think, too.
Like
So-
more of an oi sound, I feel like.
Yeah, I don't know. It's just got that sort of like Hellcat, Tim Armstrong feel to it, recording
All
wise
right.
and production wise. I really like it. Worth checking out if you like those kind of bands. They should really look into changing their name, but I don't think I'm going to convince them. Last band is a band called The Satans. And their album Vegan Nights. They're a pop punk band from Italy, which probably gives you a hint of what they might kind of sound like. You know how Euros kind of have that specific pop punk sound?
Right.
There's a certain Ramones core pop punk that's very European centric.
Yeah.
And it's on Monster Zero, which also gives you an indication of what that might sound like. If you're into that stuff, you'll probably like it. It features members of a band called the Furies or Furries. Furies or Furries? I'm not sure. And the cover work is also pretty rad. So, yeah, that's what I was listening to.
Excellent. Excellent listening choices, Mike.
Thanks, Nathan. Would you tell me if they weren't excellent listening choices, though?
No, I don't think so. Because that would not be kind to the band either, right?
No, it wouldn't at all.
And
I
that's
just
not
want-
what we're about.
No,
I don't want to be unkind.
you got to be kind, Nate.
You got to. You got to. That's why I rewind. It is. It's the only reason I do it. On to the list. On to the list, Mike. My first song comes from a band that is always good for a sound clip. This band did appear on my first list, but I did not choose the same song. Same band, different song. I was certain this song was on the list the first time around, but it was not. Not even on your list. And I was certain it was played on at least one of the 87 episodes that we did, or I guess 86 episodes that we did, because this is the 87th. So I was sure that it was played on one of those, and it wasn't. This is arguably one of the greatest exchanges in any coming of age movie ever, and one of the greatest clips in a movie. Maybe not ever, but it's a great clip from a John Hughes movie, no less. That movie is Some Kind of Wonderful, and it shows up in the song Hearsay, Hypocrisy, and Revenge by Good Riddance.
Such a good sound clip.
Right?
Yeah. Great song, too.
And like sets up the song just perfectly for the teenage angsty fuck you to your parents.
I honestly use that line all the time. Where's the fucking
I know
money,
you
Keith?
do. I know you do. That became like just such a part of our vernacular as teenagers into our 20s and 30s and beyond.
Yeah.
And I was shocked that it had never been used.
Also, Good Riddance is like, they're a heavy sound clip band. They've got a ton of great ones.
Always good for a sound clip.
Yeah,
Always.
They do a good job of it.
And they used this clip for all it was worth. They didn't just use, they could have just left it at where's the fucking money, Keith? But they didn't. They went for it. The whole thing's there. This is actually a movie I don't think I had seen in its entirety till about a year or two ago. Like I recall seeing parts of it, but I couldn't recall seeing the whole movie. This movie became one of my COVID movies.
I feel like
I'm sure you have a couple of those too.
I feel like Some Kind of Wonderful, like if you were into John Hughes movies, for our age, like when we would have started watching them, Some Kind of Wonderful was more adult than, let's say, like Breakfast Club or Ferris Bueller or Weird Science or something like that. Like it's less funny. I mean, it's still funny. It's a great movie if you like John Hughes. But I mean, like I could see like when we were like 10 or 11 and you're just discovering those movies, like you're like, you maybe saw it and you're just like, it didn't hit the same way as like,
right.
As like 16 Candles, which is problematic and whatnot, but it just didn't hit the same way. And then like, if you watch it now, that's one of the better ones because it's like, it feels more relatable because you're like, you can see it. I mean, it's just more adult.
Yeah. That's a good way of putting it.
It's from a punk band from Buffalo called the Antibodies. And they're a band that writes a lot of songs about horror movies and pop culture, which kind of go hand in hand with each other. It's pretty straightforward punk, but sometimes that's all you need. They have songs about Evil Dead, and they even do a song that's a parody of My Name is Jonas, but they changed it to My Name is Horace, aka Fat Kid from the Monster Squad, which is, if you've watched Monster Squad as an adult, the fact that they call this guy Fat Kid through the whole movie is so like unnerving. Like,
right.
When I went back, I was like, they just call him Fat Kid and like no one says anything. This is like just them being mean until at the end when he's like, my name is Horace, and he like gets his revenge kind of. But it's like his friends call him Fat Kid, and they're just like it's just so mean.
Ouch.
But I used to love Monster Squad. And did you like Monster Squad when you were a kid?
No, I never watched it. I watched
like it won't hold up if you didn't like it as a kid. You won't be like, this is amazing. But like a kid would like it.
What's like House of Frankenstein? Did you watch that like when it was accessible again when we were adults?
No, I didn't go back and watch it. I mean, like it was funny-ish when I was like a kid on YTV. It
didn't hold up for me.
Yeah, I doubt it.
some of those things you just can't revisit, you know?
Yeah. Like this just is like Monster Squad is very like 80s movie like dribble. But Wolfman's Got Nards is still funny. The song I picked is not that one, so I don't know why I went on that tangent. But the song is called The Losers Club, and it opens with a clip from the movie It, which is, I think, a movie you and me went to see in the theater together. Or did we see part 2?
We saw part 2.
And
is this like the first It, or is this the second installment?
The second, it's from the. I don't know if this part is from. No, this must be from the first part of It, but not the TV movie one.
Right, like not the original It with Tim Curry.
Yeah, no. The second,
Okay.
the second coming, which the first part of the second one is way better than the miniseries. Like, I don't know. Anyway, that's a long thing, but this is the movie we went to, and there was like some drunk dudes, right? And like,
Yeah.
the police had to come or something. It was like its own side movie.
Yeah, it was wild.
Yeah, movie etiquette has really gone downhill.
Yeah.
It's
Well,
insane.
that was pre-COVID too.
That was
think things
pre-COVID.
have changed.
You think? I doubt it. The last movie I went to, somebody took their shoes off and their socks. Like, that's not
What?
a place for. Yeah,
People
the
do that on
recliner-
planes too, man.
it's like the recliner seat thing. People are just like, oh, it's a recliner seat, so I can do what I want now. Like,
I don't know
I've
why
have
that
ex-
gives license.
I don't think it should. I'm half
No, it
expecting
shouldn't.
to see somebody just like one day just be like, I'm gonna take my shirt off now. That's
Right.
like I'm on my own couch now.
Well, maybe that's why they made them leather, so that
Maybe.
you would discourage shirts coming off,
Yeah, maybe.
right?
Anyway.
Easier to clean than fabric as well.
Anyway, antibodies are really good at using. This is a good example of a band using a clip from the movie or show that is the subject of the song, which is why I picked it. I mean, it would be weird if they used a clip from Wheel of Fortune and then wrote a song about it. So it's better they used a clip from it.
Hearsay, hypocrisy, and revenge. Good riddance. And
The Antibodies and The Losers Club.
Where's the fucking money, Keith?
Dad, calm down. Listen to me. The money is not important here.
You don't know what's important. You don't know what the hell you're talking about.
You know what the hell I'm talking about. You just never listen to me. I'm not gonna go to college. The money is gone. You can't get it back. It's over. This whole dream. It's not what I wanted. It's what you wanted. I never wanted it. I just didn't have the guts to tell you.
Oh, you're only 18 years old, for Christ's sake.
Then I'm 19. Then I'm 20. When does my life belong to me?
Look at what you left for me. Now that you moved on, both past both therapy. Just one more scar, it's never gone. You tried to break me down, time and time again. Rejection feels too sweet, but I can't make a saddest thing. Try to hide as I hold you in my arms, as I feel your body broken. Is this just a dream? Disappointment follows me. It's always just behind. Self-doubt and solitude. Frustration left me blind. No pain, no part of me. I am both numb and cold. Some set up fantasy. Obsessed with self-control. It's me. Try to hide as I hold you in my arms. As I feel your body broken. Is this just a dream? This is your worst fucking nightmare! One chance, big break, much more than I can take. Last gas, shadows, dark things nobody knows. You lost, who's won? My revenge has just begun. I've just begun. And I'm coming home. And I'm coming home. I'm coming home. I'm coming home. I've just begun. Yeah, yeah, yeah. My revenge has just begun.
I'm gonna have to kill this fucking clown. Welcome to the Losers Club, asshole!
We are the Losers Club, hailing from our hometowns every May. We're gonna put an end to that clown in the storm drain. We are the Losers Club, we've come to conquer our fears. We hope you won't be back in 27 years. Praise on the young it seems, a demonic entity. The neighbors heard your scream, left in the gutter to bleed.
Have you got a second one chosen, Mike?
I do. Have you got a second one chosen?
You brought a. I did.
I have a whole list,
I do.
Nate. It's
A
extensive.
whole list of.
It's extensive.
How many would you say?
I mean,
How many choices?
I don't want to go out there but I'm going to say 5. I got 5.
5. Okay, 5. I also chose 5.
Wow, what a coincidence.
Yeah. My next one is an album starter, Mike. And I believe that you chose this band the first time around. It's not the same song. I don't think it's the same album. I didn't check to see if it was the same album. I'm sure you're going to tell me, though, if it's the same album.
I have my list here, so we'll see.
I don't think it is.
Okay.
Anyways, this is not a movie clip, though, Mike.
That's fair.
It is a sound clip, but it is not a movie sound clip.
We didn't
All right?
specify movie and television. We said sound clip.
Nope, we didn't. That's true. I'm just making that extension right now. Just putting it out there, making it clear, putting it out there in the open. All right.
Sweet.
All right. This is a song that I remember the first time I heard, I was completely caught off guard by the voice of Ella Fitzgerald playing off of an old vinyl record. It's the first song. So the first time you hit play, that's what you hear. Just to be punched in the mouth 20 seconds later. The song is Analog off the album Exile in Oblivion. Strung Out's the band. What are you laughing
I'm just
at?
laughing out. Can we get a list without Strung Out ever?
I don't,
just like
there are lots of lists without Strung
just
Out,
joking.
and I hardly ever bring them
I'm just
up.
joking because of the WhatsApp chat. This is a great song. I love this album, but this is not the album that I used for the last list for sure.
Okay, good. So not even the same album. But Strung Out is another one of those bands that's pretty, maybe not as heavy on the sound clip as sound clips as Good Riddance, but I feel like they're still good for a couple.
Yeah, and they like to use it like effects and things like that to enhance their songs.
Yeah. It's a great song that's complemented by a memorable sound clip. And I was pretty sure, like going into this, that it was Ella Fitzgerald, but I couldn't find confirmation anywhere. Like I dug out the old CD and figuring like there would be a credit. No credit.
You got to pay if you used if it's a credit.
I guess.
That's not very punk rock, paying for stuff.
So then I searched the song Analog on Bing, looking for a tie to the sound clip. Nothing. So then I searched Bing's competitors.
We won't name
Nothing.
them.
No. Why would we name them? And then I even let Shazam listen to Analog, and it said Strung Out. So I'm like, well, I guess that's why they didn't credit it, because it's their song.
Yeah.
But after days of searching, it finally occurred to me, because I'm still new to the internet, Mike.
Well, it's new.
Yeah.
It's like the fire station.
This is not something I'm well versed in. So after days of searching, it finally occurred to me to type the first line of the lyrics into the search bar. And there it was. Ella Fitzgerald and Louis Armstrong. The song is They Can't Take That Away From Me.
It's a good song. I don't think I picked that up either, but I know that song.
Well, there you go. Did you know it was Ella Fitzgerald, or did you just have a sneaky suspicion?
You know what? I'm trying to think of it in my head right now. I don't remember. I don't think I knew it was Ella, or if I did, I mean, I haven't thought about it in a long time, so I can't even make a guess. I'm sorry, Nate.
It's not something you wake up every morning and think about.
But I do listen to a lot of Ella Fitzgerald. I listen to a lot of that kind of music. So
yeah,
but I'm not like, I wouldn't be great at picking that stuff out.
I was certain you were going to be like, of course that's who it is, you idiot. And
Sorry.
so I was like,
so let's restart that. Of course I knew that was Ella, you fucking idiot. You're so uncultured.
So it was my mission to figure this out over the last couple of weeks. And I did. And it was very anticlimactic. You were like, yeah, I don't know. Don't really think about it.
I have a similar story with one of my picks. So
excellent.
It's not the next one though. So when we get there, but it doesn't work.
Something to look forward to. Something to look forward to.
Little teaser.
Right. I love a tease.
My pick is a song I thought maybe I used before. So I had to go through all my lists and I don't think I've used it. If I did, whatever, you get to hear it again. The band is the Bruce Lee Band. The song is We've Got the Power, We've Got the Money. And the album is Community Support Group. Do you like this EP? Do you like Bruce Lee Band?
I do. I don't think I know the EP off the top of my head, but I do like the Bruce Lee Band.
So this is like when he reformed Bruce Lee Band and like started adding like more guest musicians. Like I think this has got like Jeff Rosenstock is heavily influenced on this one. Like I found that the second version of Bruce Lee Band was like a little bit edgier, like less like Mike Parky and more like a little bit edgier. And I kind of like Mike Park when he's like got a little meanness to him. Like I think it's because his persona, it seems like he might be the nicest guy in the world. And then like every once in a while he'll say something snarky and like edgy. And I'm like, I like this version of him. And yeah, the song is predominantly about using like indigenous culture in sports as mascots or names and stuff like that, specifically the Washington Redskins, which since then has thankfully been changed, but it's still an issue in sports. I mean, look at the Blackhawks logo. I mean, you don't have to look very far, or the tomahawk chop, which is still somehow used by like teams. Like, I don't get it. Anyway, it opens with a clip of Bob Costas kind of just shoving it in your face and saying like, this is ridiculous that this is even an issue anymore, that we still have to talk about this. And then it goes right into the song. Great song, great EP. And it's just one of those sound clips that sets the tone for everything. Also, the song features Sean of Andrew Jackson Jihad, if guest appearances are your jam. But that's it.
So this one's right at the beginning of the song.
Yes, it's right at the beginning of the song.
Good. I like that Bob Costas was frustrated by it and calling it out. Usually those guys kind of reserve those types of opinions, especially when it's like directed at sports owners and franchises.
Yeah, I think I kind of had to look it up, and because I was like, it's Bob Costas, I'm pretty sure, like it sounds like him. And then I looked it up and they were like, yeah, I think he got in a little bit of trouble for saying it on air. I'm pretty sure when I was a kid, I never thought anything about the Blackhawks logo, and I didn't think it was offensive. I didn't think it was meant to be offensive. And it probably isn't meant to be offensive, but it is offensive. And that's all. Like, it's ridiculous that somebody's just like, once you're clued into that, it should just be an automatic like, oh, fuck, man, sorry. What the hell were we thinking? This is stupid.
Right.
But instead, we got to pretend like it's some tradition that we need to hold on to.
Right. But way to go, Bob Costas.
Bob. Not just good for pink eye at the Olympics.
What's that story?
Dude had pink eye in the Olympics. You never, just look it up. He had pink eye. It was so bad during the Olympics on air. And
amazing.
Yeah, it became a thing for like a day or two that he had pink eye.
So that's something you remembered.
I have a shitty memory, and then like random stuff like that pops up.
But pink eye, those are things you hold on to.
That and where's the fucking money, Keith?
Have you had pink eye before?
Yeah. Haven't you not?
Just not well covering the Olympics.
Oh, yeah. I did the responsible thing and stayed home.
Right. Yeah, that would be the responsible thing.
Spread my pink eye around.
Analog, strung out, and
Bruce Lee Band, we've got the power, we've got the money.
You wear your hair, the way you sip your tea, the memory of all that. No, they can't take that away from me.
about the term Redskins and how it truly differs from all the others. Ask yourself what the equivalent would be if directed toward African Americans, Hispanics, Asians, or members of any other ethnic group. When considered that way, Redskins can't possibly honor a heritage or a noble character trait, nor can it possibly be considered a neutral term. It's an insult, a slur, no matter how benign the present-day intent.
Make sure the statue has no limitations. Write out the Redskins, racist jubilation. Take home the pennant, wave up the pageantry. We got this head just so we're winning this argument. It isn't helping. It isn't helping. It isn't helping. It isn't helping. We got the power, we got the money. They got reservations with casinos looking funny. Addicting the addict, fueling the flame. Make another homeless man going insane. It isn't helping. It isn't helping. It isn't helping. It isn't helping. Do we have the right to uprise forever? Do we have the right to uprise forever? Do we have the right to uprise forever? Do we have the right to uprise? Make sure the statue has no limitations. Write out the Redskins, racist jubilation. Take out the pennant, wave out the pageantry. We got this head just so we're winning this argument. We got some power, we got some money. They got reservations, but casinos looking funny. Addicted isn't helping, looking isn't helping.
So I think it's fair to say, like, I don't think I'm jumping out on too far of a limb here to say that there's a good handful of Fat Records bands that were fans of the sound clip.
Oh yeah,
I feel
I
like
think
that's a fair statement to make, Mike.
I would say that's a very fair statement to make.
Like Good Riddance, for example, Strung Out, for example, No Use for a Name, for example. Always good for a sound clip, right?
Fuck you, that's my name.
Right. Do you know what that movie is?
Glengarry, is it that one? Like the Wall Street one?
Glengarry Glen Ross?
Yeah, is that it?
Yeah, it's from Glengarry Glen Ross.
Okay.
That said, there are some bands that I can't think of a single song that they've used a sound clip on. One of those bands is NoFX.
They've never used a sound clip?
Can you think of one off the top of your head? I don't want to say never. They've probably used a sound clip, but
no, for sure they do. The leads are weak. The leads are weak.
Go. That's the only one I could find. Now, I wasn't looking aggressively for a NoFX song where they used a sound clip, but it just struck me as odd when I came across it. And the thing that is doubly odd, or that tweaked my mind. Do you know what that sound clip is from?
Isn't it Glengarry? Isn't it the same movie?
Yes, It is Glengarry Glen Ross.
Yeah.
So
it's Alec Baldwin, right?
It is. And I believe it's Jack Lemmon he's having the conversation with. I just thought it was interesting that in 1997, No Use for a Name uses a sound clip from that movie in the song The Answer Is Still No, which is the song that I chose the first time around when we did this episode. So this is kind of a nod, let's say, to my list the first time around, my list in episode 3. And it's that bit that you so eloquently put that Alec Baldwin has in the monologue of that movie. And then 12 years later, in 2009, NoFX uses a clip from that same movie. Another great clip. And that clip sets this song up perfectly. Have you seen that movie, Glengarry Glen Ross? Do you know it?
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah?
Yeah.
You like that movie?
I don't actually. Like, I feel like that's one of those movies that, like, guys our age are supposed to like a lot.
Right.
Like, I like Goodfellas and Casino, and, like, I feel
sure
it's in that same group where people are like our age should be like, yeah, that's the movie you should like. But I just never liked it that much.
No, I didn't like it that much either. It's a very slow movie, but the writing is really good.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, have you ever seen the SNL clip with Alec Baldwin being an elf doing this?
No, doing the Glenn Ross?
Yeah, like
no, like his speech in it or his
yeah,
big...
it's so good. Because he fucks up
to
too.
Watch that.
He screws up too and he like uses the line from the movie instead of like the SNL line, and you can tell he's like shit.
He was always good in the Christmas episodes.
Yeah, I think that's his money for that skit comedy stuff.
So the song is We Called It America. The band is No Effects, and the album it comes from is Coaster.
I like Coaster. I think a lot of people don't like Coaster, but I like that album.
It's an underrated album.
I also like this song a lot. It's like I don't know. One of the newer No Effects. This is one of my. I guess if you like put them into like stages, this would be one of the later stage No Effects songs I really like.
Agreed.
Mm-hmm. Well, my song is very different, but that's okay. That's
that is
what we're all
okay.
about here.
We're two different people, Mike.
It would be very boring if we were exactly the same.
Right? We just end up picking the same songs.
We're similar enough, but
similar enough that it complements each other well. Like ketchup and mustard.
Yeah.
That's what you and I are.
They're both condiments. They go on the same sort of things.
Exactly.
Separate, they're great. Together, sometimes they're
better.
Even better.
They're better together.
Yeah. And that's why we're called ketchup and mustard in the outside world. That's what everyone calls us. That's why I have a tattoo of ketchup on my left shoulder.
You got yourself. You didn't get me. You got yourself.
Yeah. Yeah. So people know who I am. When they're like, hey,
right.
Are ketchup and mustard showing up tonight? And then I'll be like, just check these guns out. And then then a big Heinz bottle comes up because I'm a Heinz guy.
You know, this story was believable till you said, check these guns out. Now everyone knows it's a lie.
It was never believable.
It was fully believable. Everyone was calling us ketchup and mustard. Thanks a lot, Mike.
We're like a bad 80s cop duo, ketchup and mustard to come and solve the crimes.
And
anyway.
like my catchphrase would be like, come on, ketchup.
Hold it, mustard. Hold it.
Man, this show writes itself.
Yeah. Oh, welcome to Flavor Town. Anyway, as we talked about last episode, there's something about Midwest emo and sound clips that just works so well.
Totally.
And everyone knows the best Midwest emo comes from France, right? You know that.
Midwest France, yeah.
I mean, yeah. The band I used was Sport, and Sport are from Lyon, but they sound like they are probably from somewhere in the Midwest musically. If you like bands like Captain Jazz, you should become an instant fan. Their album Bon Voyage came out in 2014, and it was a follow-up to their first EP, Colors. It's energetic, frantic, math rock, emo. And if you've never heard them, their entire discography is free on Bandcamp. It's totally worth checking out. And even though I picked a song off Bon Voyage, I would suggest checking out Slow, which is their last album, I believe. And I think it's just a phenomenal album front to back. The song I picked was Reggie Lewis. And I don't know a ton about Reggie Lewis. Other than he was a basketball player. And I think he died of like a heart attack or something on the court or like at a NBA practice or something. Do you know who Reggie Lewis is?
No,
I feel like I saw
doesn't ring a bell.
I feel like I saw a 30 for 30 about it, but all the songs in this album, the titles are all athlete names. Like I think one's like Andre the Giant. Now I'm thinking about it. Maybe they're all athletes that are dead. I don't know. Anyway, the sound clip is technically titled Intro, but it goes right into the song, but it's on the album. It's like its own separate track. So I don't know if this is cheating. Would you call that cheating?
No, I'd say it's fine.
Like I think it's meant to be part of the song because it just like
sure.
But the sound clip is from one of my favorite movies, and that movie is Stand By Me. So it's
nice.
an automatic win. Nothing to do with Reggie Lewis, but definitely works with their like noodly guitar sounds and sets the tone of the album and the song. So that's it.
I just find it interesting that Midwest emo is like a genre, right? But it's also geographic.
I think because those bands that really like took that sound come from there, right? Like,
right.
Like they worked off the original emo stuff and then like took it.
I guess like
ran with
SoCal punk
Yeah.
is like a genre, right? So I guess it does. And you don't have to be from Southern California necessarily to play SoCal punk, but maybe I thought you did.
No,
maybe
I don't.
I thought it would be inauthentic if you didn't.
Yeah, I mean, like, I get it. Like, it's just probably because there was so many bands from SoCal that were playing that sound. So that, but then, yeah, like, there's bands from Calgary that sound like that. like
it's just interesting.
Yeah,
it's something that interests me, Mike.
Yeah, well,
it's one of my interests, actually. One more question: is the one that has Andre the Giant, or is the one that's called Andre the Giant? Does it have a sound clip? And is the sound clip from The Princess Bride where he says, "Anybody want a peanut?"
No, it's not. And I would never pick that because I hate that fucking movie so much.
It's a great movie, Mike. You're missing out.
Oh, that's like something that, like, that's one of the movies, again, from our generation that like everyone loves. And I cannot stand that movie. I hate everything about it.
We called it America. No effects. And
sport, Reggie Lewis.
The leads are weak.
The leads are weak. The fucking leads are weak. You're weak.
Remember when America had a middle class and an upper class that was way before the Exodus? That was the America that we thought was number one, that would ever come, that would never die. That was just a pride and faith. Too better than these sins. I know faith isn't one of them, but I should have been. Cause when things are crumbling, we had no camaraderie. Just a face of one would say was so despondent. We called it America. Whoa. We called it America. Whoa. Number one America was a slogan used to keep morale when we knew we were already cooked in the better Western states. Secession and they used their ones followed right behind. Mexican America was a perfect name that epitomized the order, significance, authority, and influence. We had turned it all around, went from number one straight to number two. We called it America. Whoa. We called it America. Whoa. Society, USA, dined and ditched. Fox reports, poor and super rich. We called it America, whoa! 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 We called it America.
I know the back Harlow Road. Comes to a dead end by the Royal River. The train tracks are right there. Me and my dad used to fish for Cossies out there. Jesus Christ, man. If they would have known you were under there, they would have killed you. Could he have gotten all the way from Chamberlain to Harlow? It's really far. Sure. He must have started walking on the train tracks all the way. Yeah, right. And then after dark, the train must have come along. All smacko. Yeah. Hey, you guys. I bet you anything that if we find him, we'll get our pictures in the paper. Yeah, we can even be on TV. Sure, we'll be heroes.
maybe you didn't watch the Oscars, but have you seen the things that have come out from the Oscars? Have they been on your feed? Have you been aware of these things?
Like
the Brendan Fraser reunion with the guy that won the Oscar this year for Best Supporting Actor?
Yes.
As an Encino Man fan, were you happy to see something like that? Like, who would have thought watching Encino Man like 30 years ago, those two guys would be Oscar winners on the same night? That's kind of wild, isn't it?
It is kind of wild. Poor Sean Austin, who was not invited to the Oscars.
Do we care about Sean Austin? Do we say poor Sean Austin?
I kind of do now.
I don't think so. No, I don't think so.
His dad was Gomez.
I only just found that out the other day, which kind of blew my mind.
Yeah.
OG Gomez? Yeah. Who knew?
Well,
I didn't.
I did.
Clearly you did. You might be wondering, Nate, is this another fat band that you're about to bring to the table? Mike, the answer is yes. It is another fat band. I couldn't stay away.
Is that why you brought up the whale? Is this some sort of weird thing you want to talk about?
I hadn't connected those dots at all, which seems pretty obvious now, but no.
Okay. You just wanted to bring up Encino Man?
Well, I just thought about it the other day, and I thought, you are a fan of that movie.
I am a fan of Encino Man.
I wonder if that affected you in any way.
Or California Caveman, as some people have called it.
Yeah, or that. Anyways, back to the list. I was just trying to create some banter, Mike. Create an opportunity for a conversation that wasn't so music focused.
That's fair.
Just something that like takes us off on a little, a little side road for a moment before we come back to the highway.
Life's a highway, Nate.
You rejected it. And for that, I will never try it again.
Okay.
We will only stick to the highway from now on. So originally I picked a song called Failed Invasion, which has this great clip from Home Alone 2, where you hear where this band got its name from. Right at the end when Kevin says, direct hit.
And
but that was on your first list, Mike.
This is exactly what I would say to you. I'd be like, Nate, I picked that song on this list before.
Yeah, I know.
And then I'd be like, dude,
I found that out.
There's so many songs. You could pick something else.
So I didn't.
Okay.
I didn't pick this song.
Okay.
But it did bring up the question, are you a Home Alone 1 or a Home Alone 2 guy, Mike?
Oh, 1 for sure.
See, that's what I say too.
Who's a Home Alone 2 person? Who?
I have a colleague at work that said Home Alone 2 is better. Like, didn't just say I like Home Alone 2 better or the storyline's a little bit more up my alley. Like it was a definitive
storyline's
Home Alone
up your
2 is better, which caught me off guard because I don't think I've ever heard anybody say Home Alone 2 is better.
What do they think about Home Alone 3 then?
Do you like Home Alone? Do you like Home Alone 2?
I don't even really like Home Alone 2. Like, I'll still watch Home Alone 1 if it's on TV or if like every Christmas I'll watch it. If Home Alone 2's on and nothing else is on at Christmas, then I'll be like, yeah, maybe I'll just catch it, but I could go without ever seeing it again. I remember being utterly disappointed when I went to the movie theater as a kid.
I think I've only seen it one time.
Yeah.
Like,
how do they leave the kid twice? Why are the criminals out in New York? Why is there a crazy pigeon lady? It's stupid. It's stupid. Home Alone 1's a stretch.
I'm glad to know that, like, I thought maybe this was common.
Is this a generational thing?
That people liked Home Alone 2? I don't think so. Anyways, I'm glad we had that conversation. Then I came across this song. So from the same band, but a different album, Crown of Nothing. And this song, Something We Won't Talk About, starts with a clip from American Psycho. And it's the scene where Patrick Bateman is describing his affection for Huey Lewis in the News before killing Paul.
Oh, I don't like this movie, but some of the dialogue in this movie is so brilliant.
It's insane.
Yeah.
Absolutely insane. And that scene is so bizarre.
Yeah, like I don't like the movie, but like this scene is really good.
Yeah. And oddly enough, I just read, so before I encountered this song, looking for songs for this list, I just read a headline the other day that said Huey Lewis still hasn't seen the movie American Psycho.
Well,
which I thought was also interesting. Because it's such an iconic scene that would be nothing without Huey Lewis playing. Like it wouldn't be the same at all. That music had such an impact on that moment.
He's hip to be square.
He sure is. Yeah. So despite this song's poppy outside, the inside of the song is really quite heavy, which is quite similar to the clip that precedes it. There's this awkward exuberance and excitement that's leading up to a bloody massacre. Something we won't talk about. Direct hit.
Nice. I'm going to stick with my quote unquote Midwest emo theme and pick a band that we've talked a lot about on this podcast. And the band is Dikembe. And
nice.
And it's off their EP Chicago Bulls, which I think is still a great name for an album. And I love that all the song titles are puns of Bulls players. It's a fantastic album. And the song I went with is Scotty Spliffin. And do you know the sound clip, Nate?
I did listen to it the other day, and I can't remember what it is, but I did listen to it the other day.
It's the icing on the cake. It's from Freaks and Geeks.
It's Jason Segel.
Maybe I'll get a clarinet. It's so good. Love that show. Love the sound clip. And I love this song.
Pat yourself on the back, Mike. Go ahead and do it. I'll wait. Very good. Something we won't talk about. Direct hit and
Dikembe, Scotty Spliffin.
You like Huey Lewis in the news?
In '87, Huey released this. 4, their most accomplished album. I think their undisputed masterpiece is Hip to Be Square. A song so catchy, most people probably don't listen to the lyrics. But they should, because it's not just about the pleasures of conformity and the importance of trends. It's also a personal statement about the band itself. Hey, Paul!
You out for a drink at a party. Poison cough, silver tongue was the start. You were gone, leaving you numb. Song round, super clear, forgotten. Just the sound of his voice made you rot and succumb.
Look, these teachers want us to work, you know? And I say, fine, I'll work. But you gotta let me do the kind of work that I want to do. And for me, Lindsay, it's my drum kit, man. This is my passion, you know? This is the essence of who I am now. But before I had this, I was lost too. You see what I'm saying? You need to find your reason for living. You gotta find your big, just gigantic drum kit, you know?
Hey, maybe I'll buy a clarinet.
I'm no good with maps. I've no sense of direction. And I can't write anything without autocorrection. I just can't keep up with this curriculum. I wish I could learn in my sleep. I've got a problem with problems. I'm not punctual. I get lost in context and sentence construction. I've never said this to anyone before. I've never said it out loud.
Thanks to everyone for supporting our podcast. I know we say this every episode, but honestly, the fact that anyone wants to hear Ketchup and Mustard talk about music and make fun of each other is really special.
I was hoping you'd say it, Mike. I was really hoping for it.
Well, now everyone knows that we're Ketchup and Mustard.
Thank you.
We hope you keep listening and enjoy it as much as we do. Thank you to our WhatsApp group for keeping us on our toes and all the fun music talk. Thanks to Nate for editing and making us sound all pretty, especially if you caught the beginning of the last episode, you would have seen how bad it was to start before Nate really got involved with editing. Thanks for the lists. If you want to send a list for this episode or any others, we'd love to hear your thoughts on those. If you like our podcast, maybe tell a friend or two, give us a review or a rating somewhere. You can find us on Instagram or on our website at highfives.ca. And I think that's it. Nate, can you think of anything else we need to say?
You've said it all, Mike. There were things that I was thinking of as you were saying them, and I have nothing further to add.
All right. Ketchup out.
Well, Mike, my last offering of the evening is not a fat band. I went off script here, Mike.
Well, now I'm just confused.
I'm actually really surprised that this band didn't make it onto either of our lists the first time around. But when I think about how long ago that was like 9 years ago. So maybe we didn't know about them, or maybe we hadn't heard of them. And I'm actually surprised they haven't come up yet on your list this time, because the sound clip is kind of their thing. I've really grown to like this band a lot. And this song in particular, Animal, Mineral, Vegetable, has a sound clip in it from the movie that really sparked the idea for this podcast, which is High Fidelity. So for those of you who have never read the website, there's a little, I guess you could call it an Easter egg at the top of the website there that points to High Fidelity. And if you've seen the movie High Fidelity, you know all about the top 5 lists. Top 5 lists are everywhere. And that was really kind of the spark that started this whole thing, was creating top 5 lists. So I felt it would be kind of a disservice to this list, to this episode, to this podcast to not include this song. And 3 songs later on this same album, there's a song called Reminders Written on Maps. Another clip from High Fidelity gets used. So this album, Feel Nothing, We Set Sail, is a real tip of the hat to High Fidelity.
This band is like masters of sound clips.
The masters, like they use them in a really unique way that I don't think is ever. Well, not to say it's never been done before.
I don't think it's unique. I think it's very of that Midwest emo thing. They use them so well, and like in the middle of songs, which is great.
Well, that's what I mean. Like it's not unique, but it's a way in which they stitch kind of song to song. Like it's more than just within one song. Like I say, this one's got 2 clips from the same movie, you know, kind of strategically placed in different parts of the songs. And I think that they use it more thematically than just kind of pointing at one song is what I'm trying to say.
Yeah,
Like,
I get that. They're just really good at it, and they pick some really cool ones. I love the one, and I think I've used it in an episode before, which is why I didn't pick them. The one they use from the Rocky movie, it's done so well, and it's not even like the good Rocky movies. It's like one of the newer ones.
Not even the good ones.
I like almost all the Rockies except for the one with Tommy Gunn.
What about Creed? Do you like the Creed movies?
Yeah, I like the Creed ones. I'm going to go see 3 eventually.
Yeah, me too.
I mean, they're very similar to the Rocky movies. There's a formula.
It's of the franchise.
Yeah, there's a formula. So I'm pretty sure I know where this is heading, but
yeah. No surprises.
He'll lose, then there'll be a montage of training, and then he'll win.
Don't ruin it for me.
Okay. Or he'll lose, but it'll be a moral victory. Anyway, so this is an interesting one, and I'm glad you brought this up before, because this one also starts with a song, and that is the sound clip. It's not a movie clip, it's a song, a sample, almost like it was a hip-hop thing, but it's not. This is a song that somehow found my way via mixtape when we were in high school. And I feel like it was one of the Jewel kids left this tape in my car. It was just titled Emo, and it was like on a blank tape. There was no track listings, and it just had like emo written with like white out. But
nice.
This song distinctly stood out all the time, and it was like I never knew who it was. I thought it was a band called Boilermaker, but it's not them. And I really had forgot about this song until a few years ago. This album came out, reissued as a compilation of an entire discography of a band. And the album is called Giving Birth to Thunder. And the band is Indian Summer. Do you know Indian Summer at all?
No.
So Indian Summer were like a short-lived band, like very short, like maybe a year, 2 at max, from Oakland. And they wrote a bunch of really great second wave emo songs. And like, I think they're getting a lot more in the last few years since this reissue. They got a lot more respect than they did ever as a band. The sample in the song is a sample from a Bessie Smith song. And I did some research, and online I found out in the original record that this came out on, there was a quite a bit of liner notes, and they explained why they used the Bessie Smith song, and it said it was to, quote, emulate the nights in Oakland we spent fucked up, passed out with a needle, dragging the end of a Slint LP. Which
Jesus.
I don't get, because I'm not, that seems like way darker than I would have ever thought. But it seriously works so well, and they have that style of like poetic talking in the songs, and it just all blends so great together. This is the pinnacle of that like kind of music for the time, and it's a great song. It's kind of funny because it's also got 2 different titles I've seen floating around, but on this reissue it's called Woolworm, but it's also known as Angry Sun. If you like do some research on the internet. So I'm guessing at some point on one of the releases, it was called Angry Sun, and one release it was called Woolworm. But the compilation of their discography, it's called Woolworm. So
Animal, Mineral, Vegetable, We Set Sail, and
Indian Summer, Woolworm. Thanks for listening. Stay cool and be excellent to each other.
What came first, the music or the misery? Did I listen to pop music because I was miserable, or was I miserable because I listened to pop music?
Woke up 4 a.m. Eyes closed, dream of sleep again. It's the same road, dead ends. I woke up in the same clothes again. And I wish that I could try to help you, but I got these waves washing over me.
son, an angry son who's done the swallowing, whose memories bitten pills. So many bitten pills that he has collected, like the fallen pieces of the broken ground which now moves on. This ground so unsettled, so endlessly unsettled. Peter counted, with the weight of the sunken earth. Still he moves on. This is Earth which he has moved on and collected and settled to his own liking. Still he moves on. A voice in the back of his head reminding him that this is stolen, this is not his. All these moments, these precious time spent moments in gravity. All this anxious waiting. All this time spent waiting. All this pain that you know, all this effortless moving, all this pain that you will ever know. From waking hours, time spent in these moments.
Here it is. Here we go. Episode 87 of the High Fives podcast. Mike, you're here.
I am here.
Good. Thanks for joining us tonight.
I'll do my best.
Oh my God.
What happened now?
Siri's talking to me over my shoulder. I've said something that Siri's like, oh, I can talk on that.
AI is trying to take over this podcast, eh?
Hold on. False start number 2. Dude, do you ever have that? Like where you're just like, you're talking and all of a sudden Siri's like, oh, hey.
I don't have Siri
I've got
on.
something to say on that.
I don't have it.
Oh.
It's the deep state stuff, Nate. I'm really scared of it. No, I don't have it on because there's stuff like that, because I'd probably be in the car and be like, have Siri just start talking to me and I'd freak out. I'm not used to people talking to me anywhere.
I'm freaking out right now.
You should be.
All right, here we go. Here it is. Here we go. Oh.
Well,
that one felt too punchy.
All right. You got this, Nate.
Take 4.
You're the pro here. Why are you?
I don't know. Well, Siri threw me off.
Yeah. It's always AI's fault.
Always.
Don't ever watch The Princess Bride.
Cutting that out. Princess Bride's a great movie. I don't care what you say.
Fucking hate that movie so much.
It's a classic.
Oh.